A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to say who I am because I don't want to give them the opportunity to say no. Newsflash for you, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how good your intro is or what you say, everybody is going to say most of the time, not interested. What's up everybody? This is Zoheb and welcome to another video. Because I've been getting questions frequently about what to say when you call a prospect or knock on a door or something like that, I want to make a video addressing that because people are overcomplicating it. But I want you guys to understand something, that 10% of your communication is the right words. The delivery of the words, your body language, your tonality, that's 90% of the game. The words matter, but it's like this much. But I'm going to give you words anyways, because that's what you guys want and you refuse to listen sometimes. But it's okay. Let's get the words, the techniques, and let's get the understanding behind it too. And let's bridge that gap so you can really be out there powerfully communicating and getting the results you want, which is people's information, sales, more money, all that stuff. I know what you're thinking, that yeah, well, there's no special technique, right? Well, let's try this. When you're ready to make the call, make that call. Whatever they say. Let's say they say hello, you say hello. That's a basic reaction to what they say. Hi, you say hi. They say hello, you say hello. You mirror and match people right away. You want to copy and mimic that rate of speech, their volume, and to a certain extent, the words they say. If they say later on, that sounds good, you say, does that sound good? Or when they say something, you say, that sounds good, right? You introduce yourself. You say who you are, what company you're with. Hey, I'm Zoheb. I'm a local realtor here in Dubai. You want to get that out of the way. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to say who I am because I don't want to give them the opportunity to say no. Newsflash for you, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how good your intro is or what you say, everybody is going to say most of the time, not interested. I don't have time, get out of here, I'm not buying anything, I'm not buying what you're selling. These are what we call unconscious responses 99% of the time, meaning they're just saying it without even thinking what they're going to say. This nervousness or unconscious response is because in the moment when you first interact with them, a lot of times because people are awkward in a social situation or just nervous in general, especially because you're a stranger, their flight or fight response comes up and now their conscious mind is shut off. I figured this out because later on in the conversation, what we were talking about in the beginning, they would say, well, who are you again? Or what was it that you were telling me about? Which means they weren't paying attention in the beginning because they were kind of like, weren't sure. So additionally to that is you who has to pause when you talk. Hey, I'm Zoheb, I'm a real estate agent. You want to make sure you pause so people can process the information that you're saying. So you say hi and they're gonna fire off, blah, 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 not interested. The proper thing to do here is not, here, this is me, take my card, save my number. No, no, no. You mirror them slowly. Pause. It's an unconscious response. You acknowledge it and you move forward. They say, hey, I'm not interested. No problem. But one way to not get instantly rejected is to say, hey, I have a question or two for you, and then I'm out of your hair if you're not interested. Say, no, don't worry, I'm not selling anything, and then you continue. The first thing people think of when you call them is how long is this person going to be here? So if you can say something like, I'm only going to be here a second, or you know what, I just have a question or two for you, then I'm out of your hair. People don't want to waste time. So you know what? I value my time and yours, and I'll get right to the point. Then you hit them. Say I'm promoting a home. I'm going to be like, hey John, I've just listed a house on the same street as yours, just 2 houses away from you. Or an apartment in Burj Vista, the same series or the same view as yours. Or I'm going to say, hey John, I just put up your neighbor Adam's house for sale. 2 similar things, but the second one, making it more personal by adding a human element, makes them more powerful. At that point, I have a basic 3 to 5, 6 question sequence to get the information that you need and move on. Unconscious rapport is a million times more powerful than conscious rapport, meeting, marrying, matching, tonality, and those kind of things. The other stuff you can get into later on if you build a relationship with that person later on down the line. Because the first initial interaction is to introduce yourself. And with that opportunity, if your conversation goes well and you guys are clicking, you get their information. Don't waste 20 to 30 minutes in one conversation trying to build a rapport with someone, especially if they're not interested. I don't want to build a connection that way. I want to build a connection with efficiency, getting people's attention, because that is what will help me build my connection in the long term. Because you might be in competition with other agents who call them a lot but don't get the info that they want. But if you get their info and you're sending them a mailer a month, 2 emails a month, you're making calls to them, text messages, they're in the loop. You're inviting them to your client appreciation parties. That's a lot more powerful than just showing up at their doorstep every month or two, knocking on their door and talking to them. So now you've gotten past the unconscious response. Hey, the reason I'm calling is that 3 more units of a similar series in that building I was talking about have just come up for sale, and I thought this might be of interest to you. Or hey, I'm going to give you a quick market update, and if you can get value, that's even better. Or hey, I just wanted to let you know that we've sold about 15 apartments in your building in the last 30 days. Did you know that? And again, 1 or 2 more questions for you, then I'm gone. But how long have you lived here for? What brought you to this particular building? You know, questions like these. But it's all about the introduction. Smiling, right? That's a big one. Whether you're on the phone or in person, smiling makes you look like less of a threat. You get past the unconscious response. You ask a couple of questions, and at the end of the conversation, if everything went well, you get their number. You don't ask for the number. You have to be assumptive, guys. If not, you set up an appointment right there. But I wanted to give you guys the basics. It's not really that hard. Introduce yourself, the reason you're stopping by, and in the middle, you have to get past their unconscious response of, I'm not interested, I'm not buying, whatever it is you're selling, etc. You just acknowledge it and move on. You know what? Most people weren't interested when we first spoke until they got to know us a little bit. Because you have to be assumptive and know that people are not waiting for you to stop by or call them or knock on their door. There's never going to be a perfect time. Guys, it's up to you to take action. Make it happen, move forward, and do it. Okay? That's really the basics. What's after the beginning? 3 or 4 basic questions. Write them down. Take it from somebody else's script. It really doesn't matter, because if you can't get past the initial wall that they give you, then you have no chance. And in the end, if you had a good conversation, get their information, stay in contact with them, build your pipeline long term. Don't just think I need a deal today. Think I'd like a deal today. But if I don't get it, I'm ready to cultivate this lead with this person and build a relationship with them long term, and then get the business later on. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Guys, I appreciate you watching this, and this is very, very basic. I'm gonna upload this and you guys put it in the comments of the one-liners that you would suggest for people to get around unconscious responses. Any scripts that you think are powerful, or anything else you guys would want to suggest, or maybe a video that you would like to see. As always, make sure you subscribe and like this video. Also share it so I can continue pumping out content for you. Okay? See you guys.